Hi there, and welcome back to my channel and to our farm. And today we are making pork chops with a creamy mushroom sauce. For this recipe, I just used white sliced mushrooms. It's kind of the junk food of mushrooms, and you can use whatever type you'd like. I have 4 boneless pork chops. I just cut them myself from a pork loin, but bone-in is fine too. Salt and pepper, thyme, Dijon mustard, beef oxo. I used 3 garlic cloves, 1/4 cup of butter, and about 2 tablespoons of flour. I start by melting half the butter in my pan. When it's hot enough, I add the pork chops. If you wanted to, you could trim the fat off of those pork chops, but I didn't feel like it was too much, so I left it. I did sprinkle those with some salt and pepper, and there I am sort of searing the fat that is on those 2 pieces. And you can see those pork chops aren't exactly cut the same size, and that's my bad. I did that. I left those 2 bigger pork chops in there. These pork chops are cooked for roughly about 3 minutes each side. You want to make sure that you leave all the pork bits in the bottom, and I added the other half of my butter. The little pork bits give this dish great flavor. I added the mushrooms and then just sort of smushed them around the pan and stirred them occasionally so that all the mushrooms had a chance to touch the butter. Mushrooms have quite a bit of moisture in them, and I let some of that cook out before I added the garlic and the Dijon mustard. You don't want it all to go away because you need a little bit of moisture for when you add your flour. At this point, I added the garlic and the Dijon mustard, and then I added the rest of my seasonings. The Dijon mustard doesn't play a big role in flavor in this dish, but I think it enhances the flavor of the other seasonings that go in there. Now, I added my flour to the mushrooms just a little bit at a time and mixed it in. I'm only adding my flour to this until there is no moisture left in the pan, and it looks kind of like that. Then I start by creating my sauce by just adding some water to it. That ended up being about a half a cup of water, and I just wanted to get the flour starting to blend in to make the sauce and not kind of go lumpy, which can happen sometimes. So once I got the flour, realizing that it's going to turn into a sauce, in fact, I added some 10% cream. This is the rich part of this dish along with the butter. So that is kind of what gives you that nice creamy mouthfeel. I probably only added about 1/3 of a cup of cream to the pan. So much of this is just dependent on exactly how much you're making and how much flour that you've put into it. So I'm adding the milk to the pan, and I'm just slowly incorporating it. I'm not in a rush here, and my heat is on low, but you also want to cook the flour. You don't want raw flour. So once I felt that the sauce was going to be what it was, I made room and I put the pork chops in because these pork chops do need a little bit of cooking, and you want to cook these pork chops until they're completely done. And I'll put on the screen the temperature that you'd like to have them at, or you can just cut one open and see what it looks like. If it's all white, then it is cooked. I put the lid on and I let this gently simmer for about 20 minutes, and then I served it up on a piece of my husband's awesome sourdough. Thanks for watching. Take care.